Okay. Oh, my bad. Okay. Thank you. First, we're going to talk about the HTS, the Highway Transportation System. Put in a couple questions at the end of each section so we can learn. First, number one, laws that govern the HTS. We have the National Traffic Motor Vehicle Safety Act. They regulate regulations for vehicle manufacturers, such as safe driving features, vehicle emissions, and recalls. All cars and trucks have recalls. Maybe the wiring harness was bad. Maybe there's a fusible link that doesn't work. Maybe the airbag doesn't deploy, or maybe the airbag comes out when it's not supposed to. Okay, so all cars do have defects. Your parents will get emailed when your parents buy a new car. Um, they put in all their emails, personal information, bank account financing, phone numbers. So someone at the dealership will call them and say, listen, your car has a software update. You need to bring it in to the dealership free of charge, and then we will update the car. Okay. National Highway Safety Act. They establish general guidelines for safety regulations concerning vehicle registration, inspection, driver's license, and laws. So, our state used to have vehicle inspections. They would check for emissions, catalytic converters, safety equipment, but we've stopped that. But other states do have those safety regulations, so you don't want to take the um, pollution control equipment off. Some people do that to make their car louder, to make their car faster. But if you try to sell it, the dealer wants all the catalytic converters, all the safety equipment under, okay? Next, the Uniform Traffic Control Device Act regulates the shape, color, and locations of traffic signs. So across the United States, a traffic light is at an intersection. A stop sign is at an intersection. A yield sign is at an intersection. So no matter where you go in the 50 states of the United States, most of the time the yield is near an intersection. A stop sign is near an intersection. A traffic light is near an intersection. So it's this way, it's uniform by color, shape, and size. Now, different states such as Hawaii, they have eruptions. You might have a picture of a volcano with lava. Danger. Be aware of hot lava. Okay. Or in Texas, maybe there are people who are leaving Mexico and running across the highway. So it might say, be aware of people running across the highway that you might not expect. Or maybe in Kentucky, where there are mountains, you might see a sign that says, beware of rocks. Okay. State government, following the guidelines set by the federal laws, they enact statutes that regulate all aspects of the HTS. Okay, let's put questions in as I go along. So, what does this mean to us? You got to follow the local rules. Some areas is 55 miles an hour. Some areas is 65. Some areas is 75. Cities and towns pass bylaws that regulate the use of the HTS within their region. For example, some local governments do not allow any cell phone use. Okay. Responsibilities of road users. Every driver shares the HTS. You got a responsibility. Make sure you're in good physical shape. Make sure you have a license. You have your insurance. Make sure you have the proper requirements in case you have an accident, and you can have the necessary coverage in case you hit someone. Okay. So that's really important. Also, ignorance is no excuse. What does this mean? Oh, I didn't know the law, officer. You have to know the law. Must be able to satisfy the demands of states' financial responsibility laws. If you hit someone in our state, you need to have insurance. If you don't have insurance, you can't be sued. They can take or go after your parents' savings, your savings, if you have any. They can go after your wages. It's called wage garnishment. So you want to make sure you have insurance. Your safety is your responsibility. Please put in questions before I go on sharing the road. Put in some questions on what I went over. Please and thank you. You need to put a Q in a question. Everyone puts a Q in a question. This is two-way communication. You get in what you put in. Put a Q in a question, please. Let's go. I'm front-loading the class. And then the second half of the class, we'll schedule drives. You're going to work. So you need to ask questions. I'm actually going over what's going to be on your test. So I need questions. How much would the average ticket cost for speeding? It depends on what city, what state, what municipality. Every city and state and municipality set their own rates. A speeding ticket, say Miami, Florida, could be $250. A speeding ticket in Detroit, Michigan could be $150. A speeding ticket in California could be $350. That's an example. So it depends on where that ticket is given and what state, city, and municipality you're in. So, good question. Let's keep going. So the highway transportation system isn't just for the highway. Well, let's go back and take a look. The highway transportation system is for the national traffic motor vehicle safety. It legislates vehicles such as emissions and recalls. It looks after things concerning vehicle registration and inspection, driver's license. It's all of these things. It's the Uniform Traffic Device Act. Traffic lights are the same across the United States. Stop signs are usually the same color and shape. And then local government, cities and towns. For instance, let's pretend you are in New Hampshire and you go through a school zone and their tickets are $350. Let's say in Detroit, Michigan, it's $75. Let's say in New York, it's $80. So the highway transportation system does give some regulation, but they allow states to increase or decrease the cost based on what they feel is reasonable. Okay, so it's a good question. Let's keep going with the questions. Are road speeds regulated around the country like signs are? The answer is yes. Very good question. Because across the United States, in some roads, it's 55. Across the United States, on some roads, it's 70. Across the United States, on some roads, it's 75 miles an hour. So it depends on what part of the interstate you're on, meaning, is it a bunch of farmland? Because in some areas, the expressway was built through the back 40 or the back 80, and there are no houses. So the speed limit's going to be higher. In some areas, the expressway highway goes through the city. The speed limits are going to be lower. In some areas like New York or Detroit or Atlanta, Georgia, heavily populated areas, the speed limits are going to be lower. Good question. How many tickets can someone get before the license gets taken? I would say it depends on the seriousness of the ticket. If you have 4 or 5 at-fault accident tickets, you're probably going to get your license taken away. You're going to be called into court. You're going to be going in for a re-examination. If you get 5 or 6 speeding tickets, eventually your insurance will go up so high, you might get dropped from your insurance because the insurancer sees you as a high risk. You are young drivers. You're under 25 years old. So being under 25, you are more likely to speed. You're more likely to be in an at-fault accident. You will be dropped. Okay. If you have 3 or 4 accidents, you will be dropped because the insurance company's goal is to make money. Their goal is not to give you money back. Let's pretend your car was stolen. The insurance company will cover the cost of the car. How old is it? They'll pay it off. They'll cut you a check, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. But if your car keeps getting stolen, you're high risk. And the insurance company may say, due to the increased crime in your area, for instance, the Kia boys, there was an ignition flaw. A few years ago, the Kias were getting stolen. So insurance companies would not insure people who buy Kias. They don't hate you, but they realize Kias are a vulnerable car, such as the Chargers, the Hellcats. They're getting stolen quite frequently. So as a result, you're going to pay higher money for a car that gets stolen more. Okay? So yes, it could be 3 tickets, it could be 1. It depends on the serious nature of the ticket. Are you required to have full coverage insurance? It depends on the state you are in. In our state, yes. In other states, it depends. You may have to have the minimum, just enough to cover your car. So you need to check with your insurance company to find out what is the minimal coverage. Most of you will be under your parents' insurance because you're under 18. As you get older, right around 26, you're going to be off your parents' insurance. You should be, because you have a job, you're out of college, you should be working. You should be living in your mama's basement. It does depend on what you can afford. Okay, most of you cannot afford a $350, $450, a $500 payment a month. Some people pay their insurance every 6 months. Some people have a higher deductible. A deductible is the amount of money you're going to pay if you have an accident. You pay $500 first, then your insurance company will get 3 estimates. They'll get your car repaired. You'll get a loaner, but your insurance rates are going to go up. So you don't really want to have an accident. What is the highest and lowest cost ticket can be? It depends. You need to look in our county. You might want to tap in the local police department in our county and download a PDF of tickets. I used to bring in PDFs of tickets into the class. Some speeding tickets can be $50, $75, $125, $250. It depends. The faster you go, the more you're going to pay. Driving a manual can be easy, but it takes a little bit more practice. Do other insurance companies compare? Yes. Do other insurance companies see why you were dropped? Yes, they do. They do have a secret formula. For instance, they look at where you live, how many miles do you drive, they look at your zip code. Within your zip code, if you have a lot of crime or vandalism, they could charge you a higher rate. In your zip code, if you don't have a lot of crime and a lot of vandalism and you live on the urban fringe of the city, you're going to pay less. If you live in the city, Detroit, Manhattan, New York, Atlanta, Georgia, Houston, Texas, Los Angeles, California, you might pay higher rates because the thefts are higher. Vandalism is higher. If you live in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, small town, okay? If you live in a small town, nothing but cows, tractors, not a lot of crime, not a lot of traffic, you're going to pay a lower rate. Good question. Okay, that's not a lot of questions, so let's keep going. Okay, so ignorance is no excuse. You've got to be in good physical shape. Small towns do have violence, but the big cities tend to have more. There are always pop-up crimes. I'm just being real with you. Sharing the road. In order to share the road safely and effectively, every driver must be aware and anticipate movements of others. This is really important for beginning drivers, and this is important for me as your instructor. Pedestrians. They always should walk at the corner and cross at the intersection, but they don't. Children are very difficult to see. They use poor judgment. They'll walk in front of a car. They'll get hit. They'll run out in front of the road to chase a ball. You have to be aware of playgrounds and residential areas. The elderly and or physically and visually impaired. They walk slower. Avoid honking or revving your engine. This noise can distract them. I'm going to make grandma fall. Boom, she fell. I'm going to make this kid jump. You scared him. But he's talking to his mom and he records you and gets your license plate number, and the mom and dad come to your house and they're ready to punch your face out because you think you're funny. But that little kid who's 5 or 6, he's on his phone. Mama, this kid scared me. I got their license plate number. Thank you, baby. Send me the screenshot. Then they call the police. This kid was revving this engine. He almost hit my kid. You don't know who's videotaping you guys. I'm letting you know. Okay? Adults always should know better. But they jaywalk. They walk not at the intersection. Jaywalkers walk between cars in the middle of the intersection. And they're vulnerable to getting hit. Okay? They dart out in front of the roadways. Always yield to pedestrians. Okay? Downtown Detroit, Manhattan, New York, the mecca of it all. Atlanta, Georgia. Okay? Philadelphia. Okay? Big cities like this, they have tens of thousands of people who go to work in downtown areas every single day. Okay? Get those questions coming in. So you got to be more cautious and more of a defensive driver. We just don't have the time to get to a downtown area, but it would really give you a different perspective to see thousands of people walk in front of you. And then when your light turns green, another 50 walk in front of you. And then you get stuck. So you got to yield to pedestrians. You got to use common sense. Expect them not to walk at the intersections. Be that defensive driver. Please keep the questions coming in. I see them popping in. Animals. You hear my dog, and it is a Yorkie. Dogs will dart out. People who have a dog who is trained to guide them. The dog is trained to go to the intersection, sit. A person who's blind, they have leader dogs who are trained as puppies. Okay? There's still people who have limited sight, and they have a right to walk and get air, and you've got to be aware. Always yield to pedestrians, animals, small animals, downtown, rural areas. Rural areas are very dangerous. Deer, we saw 2 deer yesterday, open field, middle of the day, because we have that urban fringe. People are building $400,000, $500,000 homes in areas, and the animals are being pushed out. So expect a deer in the middle of the road. We've seen, no cap, we've seen a lot of roadkill, squirrels, skunks. We saw a coyote the other day, didn't make it. So these animals are in the road. See, turkeys, wild turkeys, you got to be careful. There are people who are deaf also too. I don't have much experience with them, so you got to be aware. So if you cannot avoid a small animal in a safe manner, it's best to make an impact with the animal than to put someone's life in jeopardy. I'll say it again. It's better if you cannot avoid a small animal in a safe manner, meaning don't swerve. It is best to make an impact with the animal than to put someone's life in jeopardy by reckless swerving. We don't swerve. We don't veer for the deer. This is a lot. I'm taking my time. Put some questions in. How many animals would you like to have hit to get your license taken away? It's not how many animals. One animal can wreck your car. It's not how many animals do you want to wreck your car. Because if your car is smashed, you can't drive it, you have 0. You lose, the animals win. So you're asking the wrong question. The question which you should be asking is, try to not hit the animal to wreck your car. So it's not how many animals. One animal can total your car. One dog can smash your front end up and your car's not drivable. And your parents are like, hey, honey, we can't help you. Your car was $4,000. It's going to cost $1,000 to get it fixed. You're going to have to work. Your car's going to have to sit. You better start catching the bus. You better have your friends pick you up. You lost your job because you can't. So you're asking the wrong question. But I like the question that you're asking. Can you be charged for hitting an animal or a pet? The answer is probably not. But if the animal is not on a leash, then the owner takes the responsibility. So let's pretend I'm walking my Siberian Husky, which is maybe 110 pounds. You hit it, maybe my leash breaks, and then you hit my animal. I'm going to go after you and try to sue you. I have my leash on, it snapped, act of nature, I'm going to get a lawyer, I'm going to try to sue you. Okay, so we don't know what angle people will go after you. Okay, are there any animals you should not stop for? You want to try to safely slow down for all animals. I'll say it again. You want to try to safely slow down. So I'm answering your question. We don't want to kill ourselves for a squirrel. We don't want to kill ourselves for a rabbit. A deer is 75 to 150 pounds. They will damage your car, go through the windshield. So you have seen this before. I'm answering your questions in a logical way. You want to try to not kill yourself for a squirrel or a skunk or a raccoon or a turkey, a deer, elk, bison, or a black bear. We have bear in our state. Bear are waking up. Mama has her cub. She will tear you up if you mess with a cub. You can total your car if you hit a black bear. Is it worse? Is it worse? Hold on. I'm reading questions. I like the questions. Overall, the answer to your question is don't veer for deer. You heard what the direction said. If a pedestrian crosses, then they aren't supposed to cross and cause an accident. You still can be held liable. The judge may say it's 50% your fault, it's 50% their fault. You're going to pay their medical expenses. Some judge will say, no, it's the full pedestrian's fault, or it's your fault. Okay? It depends on your driving record. Judges will look at everything. Was it dark? Was it light? Why did the pedestrian walk in this area? Do you have a good driving record? Do you have a bad driving record? It may go to trial, and a jury may say, due to this person's bad driving record, and they have 3 reckless driving tickets, we're going to side with the pedestrian. There are many animals you should hold on. Keep the questions coming in. I had a technical problem. Give me a second here.
Recording in progress.
Okay, put your questions back in. The system timed out. It happens. Go ahead, put your questions back in. The system timed out. Also remember, guys, it's very windy outside. I could lose power. You could lose power. We could lose power. 20,000 to 30,000 people across the country lost power. It's very windy. It's not my fault. Usually my connection is pretty reliable. I pay the additional money for faster internet. So could be the win. Put in your questions again. I'll see if they're there in the chat. Give me a second. We'll let people come back in. Put your question in again, please. System just timed out. Sometime this updates as we go in real time. The biggest thing is we don't want to kill anyone for a bunny rabbit. We don't want to kill anyone for a dog. But if you can safely slow down and steer at an angle, you should do that. We never want to cross the line, hit a car head on. It's not if or animal, it's when. Okay, it's not if, it's when. Oh my God.
Recording in progress.
My system keeps timing out. It is what it is. All I can do is try. So be patient. It is what it is.
Myles, you have the chat disabled still.
Okay, I'll turn it back on. Give me 1 second. It might time out again. We'll deal with it. Just give me 1 second. Chat. All right, chat is on again. Put in your information. It might reappear. It might crash again. The chat, put in your questions in again. All right, we'll wait for everyone to come in. And by me taking my time, you'll understand. If you see one deer, you're going to see multiple. Slow down. Look left and right. Okay? We all have seen cats dart across the street. We've all seen wild dogs dart across the street. So you just got to be careful. Okay? You've seen little kids dart across the street. You got to be extra careful with that. Give me 1 second, please. All right, if you can see my screen share, give me a thumbs up. All right, let's see. Let's keep going. So the question is about wild animals. Don't panic. Try not to swerve. Reduce your speed. Flash your light. Honk your horn. Because if you take a direct hit, the animal could go under the car. You could lose control. The animal could fly over the car. The animal could flip over and come through the windshield. The animal could bounce off left or right. We don't know how that animal will end up, okay? And then if you hit the animal, you should call the DNR, and they will come and take care of the animal, put it out of its misery. That's not our job to do. The Department of Recs, they will come and properly get the animal out of its misery, okay? And you should be courteous enough. Now, if your car is damaged, you got to wait for the police to get a police report so your car can get fixed by the insurance company, okay? If you have a really old car, your parents may say, listen, that car's only worth $2,000. You paid $1,000 for it. We'll come and get you. But if you hit an animal, you can't just leave. You need to pull over, call 911. Oh my God, I've struck a deer. I've hit a dog, and it's in misery. Call the police. Here's where I am. They will come and properly handle the animal. I'm just being real with you. Okay? And then if your car is smashed, you got to have a police report to show the insurance company. Your insurance may or may not go up. Okay, if you hit a deer, your insurance might go up because the insurance company has to spend money. Right, I like the questions. Okay, large animals, they can damage. If a collision with a large animal is imminent, release the brake just before impact. Because when you hit the brakes, the front end of your car dips down. The animal could flip right over the car, through the windshield. All right, bicyclists. All you know about this, cyclists are increasing. We have e-bikes now. They're going 30 miles an hour, 15 miles an hour. If you have an e-bike, you're supposed to ride with the flow of the traffic, not against it. You should have a helmet on. We know people don't. We saw 10-year-olds in an e-bike that were going about 30 miles an hour. They crossed a major road. A driver almost hit them because the kids on the bike should have yielded. The driver making a right turn did not. So basically, we almost saw 3 kids get run over because the young kids should have yielded for the traffic, but they didn't. Because when we drive, we get kind of lackadaisical. We don't really pay attention to our surroundings. So that's what I'm trying to teach you. With dangerous animals, should we slow down at a safe distance? Start scanning left, middle, and right. Turn on your high beams. Start looking at the edges of the road. Now, that's a really good question. Now, we're thinking, because you don't want to damage your car. You don't want to have to go to a repair shop and get a police report. And it's a lot of traumatic shock if you hit a large animal. The animal is injured. almost dead. You got to call the police. We don't want to really see that pain and suffering. Your front end of your car is smashed. You hit a 150-pound deer. That can do a lot of damage, usually $3,000 to $5,000. What ways to reduce sun glare? You use your sun visor, and you make sure your windshield is clean. "27 minutes. Then when you're going to keep the questions coming in. I like the questions because I'm giving you practical information. Let's keep it going. So we talked about e-bikes. They're supposed to ride with the flow of the traffic. You need to give a bike at least 3 feet. People who don't have cars, or people who are in their 40s and 50s and 60s, maybe they want to work a part-time job, they don't have a license, or they got too many tickets, maybe a DUI, or maybe their family said, listen, Grandma, we don't want you to drive anymore. Grandma wants to get an e-bike. She wants to ride to Walmart. She wants to work at McDonald's or a coffee shop, right? Nothing wrong with that. It's about 3 miles away. She doesn't really want to take the bus because there are people on there who aren't nice. So she gets an e-bike. Grandma, here's a helmet for you. Grandma can do 30 miles an hour. Grandma, this e-bike is fast. I know. You're saying to grandma's gonna fall because she doesn't have good balance. So you really gotta be careful. E-bikes serve a good purpose. That's a good source of transportation. New York, Detroit, Chicago, Atlanta, Georgia. What ways can we reduce sun glare? I told you, clean off your windshield. Keep the questions coming in. Do we need to know hand signals? You should always use hand signals on a bike. 90 degree is for a right. Straight out means slow down. Straight out means left. 90 degrees are right. Straight out, 90 degrees are right. Straight out to the left. Down to the side means slow down. If your car's signals do not work, you can use hand signals. We want to share the road. Thank you, Rose, for the great question. If a big insect were to land on our mirror, you pull over and clean it off. If you've driven a long distance, you've been with your parents when they go for a drive for 4 or 5 or 6 hours in the summertime. Bug guts are on the windshield, on the headlights. They got to go to the gas station. They're going to say, you need to clean the window. You're like, ooh, bug guts, bug guts. You know this. When you get fuel, you clean off your windshield, you clean off your headlights. You've been on that family trip to Kentucky, to Georgia, to New York, to Atlanta, Georgia. You've been on that big field trip. You know what it's like. You got to clean that car off. Okay? This is why you have to have windshield washer solvent. Your auntie from Florida comes up, baby, I'll be up tomorrow morning at 7. You come and see grandma, there are bug guts all over her windshield. Okay? Oh my God, this thing keeps crashing. This thing keeps crashing. The wind is giving me a really hard time. You guys put in your questions. I'm going to do a reset of everything. I'm going to do a restart. So a lot of you have not been on deep drives. You've been with your auntie or uncle. They travel up. The windshield is dirty. I'm keeping it real. I'm eating. I'm doing a restart. But when you first learn how to drive, you're like, man, there's so many insects, especially at night. Because you have headlights, the bugs are attracted to the headlights. Keep putting your questions in. We're looking for 10 thumbs up, 10 to 15 people. After about a half an hour, you're going to have more people come on. This is how the algorithm works. We already have 7. Put in your questions. Put in your questions. You have to have insurance. Safety's no accident. And to learn to drive is exciting, but also it's stressful. You're going to deal with weather. You might have a flat tire. You might have someone who's like always bugging you and you can't really drive. But you're also going to go on a road trip and you might have to have someone with you. That's fun to have your buddy with you on a road trip. I'm still rebooting right now. Put in your questions. My favorite cousin. I'm not saying her name. She was my wing woman. We go out to the club. I look out for her. She looked out to me. Huh? So that's important. Your cousins. Okay? That's cool to drive over to your cousins and pick them up. But also, they're going to be very critical of you. You can't drive. Are you safe? Now it's going to crack jokes on you. I'm letting everything boot up. It's very windy. We could end up losing power. I'm just saying. Put in your questions. And we can't control the weather. Like, things happen all the time.
Recording in progress.
We'll keep going, guys. It is what it is. It's very windy. So we'll deal with it. Alante, turn down your volume a little bit. This can happen to you too, so it is what it is. I'm gonna wait till everyone gets in, then I'll do a screen share. Keep in the questions. I like to review. So, you want to be aware. You're going to be learning how to drive. You're going to go on that deep drive 2 or 3 states away. You're going to drive through the night. It's going to be fun. It's going to be scary. You're going to drive, see the sunrise come up. But then you're like, oh my God, I'm so tired. And then you pull over and you rest for an hour or two. And then you keep going. You're going to go through New York, Chicago, Atlanta, Georgia. This is when you're going to get that deep highway drive and really say, man, I'm glad my instructor told me about this. I'm glad my mom or dad told me about this. Thank God they got me new tires on my car, because after 4 or 5 or 6 years, your tires can dry rot. And when you're driving on a highway, they heat up. When you drive on the highway, your tires get hot. You want to check the air pressure of your tires when they're cold. If you have an older car that has tires that are 5 years old, 6 years old, 7 years old, you could have a blowout. So you got to really check your car, maintenance, windshield washer solvent, make sure your tires are good. It's a big process, and most of your parents will show you this because they don't want you stranded. They don't want to have to worry, oh my God, I'm in New York and I have a flat tire. Oh my God, we're 10 hours away. Okay, we're going to send you $1,000. You get it towed to the nearest shop. I don't know where I am, Mom and Dad. What? You don't know where you are? Because you don't know directions. You don't know how to read a map. Unfortunately, a lot of schools don't teach that anymore. I'm an educator. You got to learn north, south, east, west, cardinal directions. Okay, let me turn on the chat again. It is what it is. I'm patient. It happens. Okay, we have about 15 or 12 minutes before you guys start working, so I'm going to keep going. The chat is on again. Put it in again. The driving company knows that the video has stopped. We've lost power. As long as we keep going, okay? We have to be on for 2 hours. That's the legal requirement. And I don't control Mother Nature. None of us do. So put your first, middle, last name in and date of birth in there again. All we can do is try. If it crashes again, it crashes. Okay, give me a moment. I'm going to do a screen share. Put in more questions as you're waiting. And these are common sense questions. I like, you got to be prepared when you go on the highway, on the interstate. You're going to be driving, you're going to be nervous, you're going to be excited, you're going to have anxiety. You have to practice reverse parallel parking. Go to your high school, go in your neighborhood. You got to do those practice maneuvers. Unfortunately, a lot of people wait till the last second. And if you wait till the last second, you might not pass. Okay. And some road testers will let you use your backup mirror. Some will, backup camera, some will not. Okay. Give me 1 second. Dun, dun, dun. I'm just getting the notes out. So hang in there. Put your questions in. I like the questions you're asking because I really want you to be prepared. One day, a year or two from now, I remember what he said. My tire's shaking. You got to get over to the right. This means you're getting ready to have a blowout. You just made it to a gas station or a tire place, and then your tire is going to be $150. Thank God my mom let me use her credit card, or dad, or I got a credit card, and then you get your tires replaced. Okay, so it's better to be proactive instead of reactive. This means you've got to check your car. You always won't have the new car when you drive, but you're going to have a safe car. Your car's good enough to drive to school and back home, but if you're going 3, 4, 5, 10, 12 hours, that's a totally different animal. It's going to rain sometime. It's going to snow. You're going to be in heavy traffic in New York, Detroit, Chicago, Atlanta, Georgia, where they're going 50, 60, 70, 80. And you're going to be going at a high rate of speed. So you got to be ready for those conditions. You're going to have a bunch of semi-trucks around you. It is very scary. So you want to stay out of the way of the trucks. And if you can't, you got to keep your speed up. Oh my God, I'm sick of this. This keeps shutting down. I don't know what to do. This keeps happening. I just don't know what to do. It keeps timing out. Thank you, E. You're all the way in New York. So probably across the world, I'm not saying there's storms, but this part of the country, there's a lot of wind. Power lines are being shaken. Okay? I'm just tired of this. I don't know what to do. I'm going to try again.
Recording in progress.
Yeah, but here's the problem. The company doesn't care. And I'm probably going to have to redo this session. Whenever you work for a major company, they don't care about power failures. They don't care about this. They don't care about that. It's almost like they don't care. So I'm probably going to have to do a makeup session. And this is real, right? It's very frustrating. This is real. All I can do is keep trying.
Recording in progress.
All right, let's keep rocking out, guys. Maybe this is the challenge for me, right? It's all good. We'll get all of you back in first. This is not your fault, but we may have to make up a session. I'm just simply saying. So, but you guys just keep bearing with me. We got about 13 minutes. So I want to keep going over this. I think your questions are good. Learning to drive, being on the interstate, a flat tire is very scary. A car won't start. You have a dead battery. So this is why you want to stay on top of your maintenance. This is why you want to be nice and caring to your parents. Okay, honey, your car is 7 years old. You need a new battery. Mom, Dad, my car is fine. Well, go ahead and go to Atlanta, Georgia and watch your car break down. Mom and Dad, my car broke down. You didn't want to listen to us. Mom and Dad, I have 3 flat tires. Well, we were going to change your tires, but you didn't want to listen to us. You need to listen to your mom and dad. They know best practice. Be humble. Your parents have been through what you have. I'm going to turn on the chat again. Okay, put your information in. Let me do a screen share. Give me 1 second. And this is real life knowledge to help you learn. And that's what I want you guys to do, is just be prepared when you get out there. I had a driver's education class through my high school. The instructor was awesome. We drove around a course around the back of the high school. Some driving with my mom and dad, but I had to go to Secretary of State, use my dad's car, very nervous, very scared, but I got my permit. I passed my road test. So all of you are going through that graduate licensing process where your mom and dad need to be more involved, which I think is great. Let me move forward. So the more involved your parents are, the more likely you are to be safe. Okay. And this is a great review for us. We'll hit you with some quizzes. I still want to make it. Thank you for putting in the same questions. Are e-bikes considered more of a vehicle than a bike? They're a bike. They're a bike that goes very fast. They're a bike that has terrible brakes. They're a bike that you're going to go 30 and can't stop and get hit by a car making a right turn. It's called a right hook or left cross. Where cars are making right turns, they don't look to your right. You're going 30. You can't just stop. They're going to look and think you're not there and you get hit. That's your fault. So we didn't have e-bikes 10 years ago, 12 years ago, 15 years ago, really in the last 3 to 5 years. There's a good video that is in New York. A lot of people ride those e-bikes. Chicago, big, huge metropolitan areas. Do you share the road with farm equipment? Yes. They have a big triangle on the back of their vehicle, which means slow-moving vehicle. Pull over to the side. We still have a lot of farms across the United States. Thank you. I love the question. You pull over to the right. How do you share? E-bikes are considered bikes. Question on the freeway. An ambulance has its sirens on. You get over to the right. You pull over. Allow them to circumvent traffic. E-bikes can go 10, 15, 20, 30 miles an hour. They have a lot of torque. And then you instantly turn the trigger and then boom, you're flying. A lot of people have scooters too. Is it worse to accidentally speed or drive around there? Both are dangerous. Both are dangerous. If you go over the limit, you'll fail your test and you'll crash into something. If you go under the limit, you'll run a light and hit someone. Drive at the speed limit. So it's not they're worse. Both of them are dangerous. I like the question. I'm getting some real solid questions. Pure. Love this. How much time as of right now will we have to make up if the class, if any? I don't have that question. I don't have the answer to that. I'll call my boss. He knows. They know. The video stopped. The video started. They know. So I can't answer that question. Sometimes I won't be able to give you answers to the questions you have, and that's okay. I know it's a little frustrating, but it is what it is. You got to know your signs and signals by the color and shape. Mirrors. You're going to have questions on your test about mirrors. Mirrors simply show you an area. Anytime you make a lane change, you got to check your mirror. A mirror won't say the truck is 30 feet away, 40 feet away. I think in the future, 3 to 5 years down the line, your mirrors will become smart mirrors. They'll say, okay, it might even tell you truck, car. It might say 30 feet, 20 feet, 10 feet, but also that could be a distraction because you have another smart device talking to you and distracting you. Right now, mirrors don't talk to you, but I can see where they could communicate with you. Okay? but it will be a distraction. So your mirrors just tell you a driver cannot afford to divert attention from the path ahead. So your main focus is straight ahead. I love the question. Vehicle technology, we talked about the sun visor used to eliminate glare. Airbags are used to protect you in case of a crash. With your seatbelt, we talked about ABS, anti-lock brake system. We talked about ESP. We had a good talk about that. This is a review. This is where we're coming in. Backup warning devices. You might have a warning or a chime. If you're backing up, you back too close, you hit mom's car. Now you got to say, oh my God, I hit mom's car. Mom, just come on out. Why? What's wrong? What's wrong? Mom, just come out. What is wrong? Mom, just come out. Oh my God, you hit my car. She can ready to take your head off. Be truthful. Mom, I'm sorry, I hit your car. Well, you're going to pay for that. You have $5,000 in the bank. I took it to the repair shop. We're not going to tell the insurance company. They say it's $4,500. You might as well give your mom that money. You hit the car. So in some cases, you don't really report an accident to the insurance company because they're going to raise your rates. Too many accidents or raise your rate or drop you. Crumple zone. This is designed to crumple up. Blind spot detector. Basic maneuvers, hand over hand. That's used for right turns, skid recovery, right turns to left turns. Push pull is changing lanes or making slight turns. Okay, I want to go for about 5 to 7 more minutes. We do have to work on parking, stall parking, angle parking, parallel parking. What I normally do is have students drive to their high school. That's fun. That's exciting. And then I have you drive to your enemy's high school. That's fun. That's exciting. Then I have you drive to a college. That's fun. Exciting. Then I have you drive to the mall. That's fun. That's exciting. Most malls have a round circular drive. Most colleges have a round circular drive. Most high schools have a bus loop area, round drive, so you can go around the school. We can do stall parking, angle parking, parallel parking. You have to know how to park. And a lot of people are very weak in this. Parking on a hill, please remember, if you're parking downhill, you turn your wheels all the way to the right, you pull up your park brake. If you're parking uphill, you turn your wheels all the way to the left, you pull up your park brake. You might have questions. You might have questions on this. I don't know the answer to that, Kayla. And that's okay. I'll find out tomorrow. Regulatory signs. Please put in 3 regulatory signs. Again, please type in 3 regulatory signs. Type it in. This is a great review. Let's go. Regulatory signs. Type it in. Let's just pray we don't crash again. Type it in. Regulatory signs. Type it in. Regulatory. I hear the wind outside. Like I hear it. I'm going to have positive manifestation. I'm not going to think about negativity. Regulatory signs. These signs tell road users they may or may not do a specific action. Do not enter. Stop. Do not pass. Wrong way. One way. Do not pass. Okay, warning signs. These signs draw attention. Stop sign ahead, railroad crossing, pedestrian crossing, slippery when wet, lane reduction. You need to know this by the color, sign, and shape. A stop sign is a stop sign in Hawaii, Michigan, New York, Connecticut, Georgia, Las Vegas. A stop sign is a stop sign. A wrong way, do not enter is the same in Michigan, as it is New York, as it is Florida, as it is Kentucky. I need you to put in warning signs. Put in 3 types of warning signs. Please do that right now. Everyone needs to type in 3 warning signs. This is your review. Your test is coming up soon. We don't want to play. You're getting good questions, good knowledge. The signs are the same no matter where you go through the United States. Every municipality can make custom signs. Brown and white signs are recreation, such as Rocky Mountain National Park. Blue and white signs are guide signs. Police, hospital, rest area. Okay, type in 3 guide signs for me. Please, type in 3 guide signs. Type in 3 guide signs. If you just got here, you need to type them in too. We got 5 people here. I'm looking for 10 thumbs up. 3 guide signs. Come on, guys. Let's go. 3 guide signs. Let's get it. Guide signs. These signs inform road users of interesting routes, places, available roadside services. They are usually square or rectangular and color-coded as to their purpose. The following: interstates, rest areas, hospitals, a blue background, a white H. Police, blue background, police, Police. You're driving on the interstate. You have a gas pump, a plate with the fork and knife, a phone, an H. Okay? Pedestrian walk ahead. Traffic lights. Traffic signals control the regulation and orderly movement of pedestrian traffic. The flow are as follows. Red light means it's at the top of a vertical intersection traffic signal. Some verticals up and down. Remember, vertical, like how high you can jump in the air. Horizontals left to right. In Texas, some of the lights are horizontal. Some are vertical. A light is a light is a light. Red is always at the top. Okay? Yellow is always in the middle. Yellow is located in the middle. It signals the driver the signal will be switching to red momentarily, and they should stop their vehicle before entering the intersection. However, please listen, if the traffic signal changes to yellow and the driver cannot stop safely before entering, they may cautiously continue through. Could you still get a ticket? Yes. Do you want to slam brakes? No. Okay? If you get a ticket, you might have to go to court and fight it. Well, I got 1 speeding ticket. Then I had 1 accident. Well, you got a yellow light ticket. You got to go to court. You get 1 more ticket, they're going to drop you for the insurance. Well, honey, we got to get a lawyer. You got to go to court. It could happen. Green signals. The light is located at the bottom of the vertical intersection traffic signal, and it authorizes the driver to proceed through the intersection. Okay?